Hey, whoa, it's been a long time.
Back
Not
at it. Back at it.
not a long time since we've been hanging out since we worked together, but a long time since we did a podcast. I would have to say since COVID
Yeah, pretty much. I would think so. I think that,
2020.
yeah, I think so. But hey, man, not
Yeah.
much is, you know what I mean? Like, we still got the same juice, so let's rock.
That's cool. Man, 3 years, amazing that three years have gone that quickly.
Lots happened.
Lots happened. Um, so yeah, I really want. I titled this, how to become elite wide receiver and QB, and I think part of the thing that we talked about, and we'll talk about what we created, but we want to be able to continue to have athletes that we've worked with, and athletes that are a part of our program or not a part of our program, be able to continue to improve over the summer. So obviously, you're going and you're doing work with your high schools. You're getting ready for the season, but we're focused on the individual work and what we could do to really help the athlete improve throughout the summer. So you're ready to go full boat, um, on board. 7-on-7 ends, showcases end. You're going to college camps. Couple things: getting you ready for season, getting you ready for college camps. Positionally, focusing on the individual work by putting together good groups for the high school kids, and then obviously in the youth level, pure development, right? Getting them in the basics, depending on what their levels are, continue to improve them to take them to the next level. So we formed this passing university. It's called Boardwalk Beats Passing University. But you don't have to be a member of the Boardwalk Beats to come to it. Anyone's open to anybody. Tell a little bit more about what we're looking to accomplish here.
Well, I think you said it best. I think this is an opportunity for guys who want to get that extra work in at a high level, right? Because like you said, 7-on-7 seasons kind of finishing up. You go into your college camps, and then there's kind of that lull when you get out of school. Kind of like, what do I do? Where do I go? What's my next move? And I think what we've created, like you said, with guys that have been in our program or our organization, and then new guys coming in, we've really created something that can really help take their game to the next level. It's a lot of more one-on-one individual coaching where we're breaking down the very specifics and the kind of getting really into the nitty gritty of what it's like to play the position of quarterback, what it's like to play the position of wide receiver. I know we're throwing tight ends in there too, but it's really kind of based for guys that are going to catch the ball out of the backfield, possibly, as a receiver. But like I said, it's really kind of that more one-on-one attention that I think we can kind of really help these guys break down and take their game to the next level so that they're really, full boat, ready to go when the season starts.
So one of the things that I've seen, that players really have to work on, that they don't have the skill set in, even top guys, like guys that we see in with our 7-on-7 club, guys that we've seen come through, that we've coached directly, and young guys like, for me, for example, wide receiver, getting in and out of your breaks, being able to catch the ball on time, being able to stack in your routes. A lot of things, I've seen great receivers that don't understand the stacking. Like when you get jammed off the line, right, you've got to be able to get right over the top of your route and be able to stack. Those are important things of being able to be able to run the route. I muted you just because there's an echo when I'm talking. So when you're ready to go, just chime in and unmute yourself. But so, and it may be something with your computer. I don't know. I'd have to go over there and troubleshoot. But so those are things that are real important. When you get knocked off your route, being able to get stacked right over the top of that defensive back, that makes him have to turn his hips and be able to cover you. You're open now when you stack on somebody versus when you're side by side. These are the kind of things that we want to be able to work on, getting the athletes to the next level from a quarterback standpoint. Now, for young guys, being able to go through that process step by step as a quarterback, being able to drop for the first time, being able to take a shotgun for the first time, being able to deliver the ball with good mechanics, but be able to do it in one motion. Same thing with high school kids, right? We don't want to be robotic with our throwing motion. We want to be able to release the ball quickly, one motion, and be able to deliver. And then also the understanding of the game, right? Being able to help to break down where you are open, where you aren't, how to sit down in zones. These are things coming from, and I myself, I've coached for 20 years. You've coached for over close to 20 years now. Coach Smith, who's doing quarterbacks, played pro football, played at University of Maine. You played Sacred Heart of Montclair State. I played at University of Connecticut. Um, every quarterback that I've coached has gone on to play in college from the time I started, which is pretty pretty good stat. Worked with four Heisman Trophy winners myself. So it's the kind of thing that we're now bringing this to the athletes in our area. We're in the Monmouth County area, but anybody throughout New Jersey is welcome to come attend. It's 2 days a week throughout the summer. It's something that you can continue to get better at.
Right, Coach. I think it's perfect. I think it's really spot on. It's set up for these guys to be successful, right? We're not giving them too much where we're only going for an hour, two times a week. That I think is the perfect amount of time where, let's show up, let's plug in, and let's get to work, right? It's not going to be, an hour of just, hey, run some routes, do some stuff. No, we're really going to break down each one of these guys, individually so that we can really help them. And, just kind of give them, the skills, that maybe, they haven't seen before, or, maybe something we can help them out with, something that they struggle with, like, hey, what's your weakness? Or what do you feel is your weakness? Or something that we can see as we're watching them compete and kind of do certain things, for me, receiver wise, like you said, I mean, we put out a bunch of guys that have gone to college and done things through the systems that they're playing in, but we're looking to just add some tools to their toolbox. Maybe it's something they don't know before, they've never heard before, or something, that we can really help them, get to that next level, and like I said, young guys, the young guys are great. It's going to be great because, we can kind of get them hopefully and develop good habits moving forward. Some of the high school guys, like I said, let's add to your toolbox, right? I mean, you're coached to do it this way, but hey, this is another way that maybe you could try, or maybe it'll work for you. I think that guys are looking for things like this to do, especially down here, in Monmouth County, Ocean County, but like you said, all over. So this is just another opportunity for guys to come in, get better, and take their game to the next level.
Yeah, I want you to talk a little bit about pace. One of the things that me and you are big on is pace, right? Being able to work quickly, effectively, efficiently, being able to continue to run your routes, being able as quarterback to continue to throw the ball on time, be able to move down the field. One of the things that I know you're like this too. One of the things that I always found fascinating, and I learned this from DJ Nymphius when I was assistant with him, was coaches always would run a play and then go right back to the same spot that they ran before. And we used to always talk about, well, what are we teaching? Gain 0 yards, right? We want to move down the field. So pace, moving down the field, understanding progression, understanding the importance of gaining yards. That's a key important thing. That's what the game's about, moving the chains, being able to, obviously you want to hit big plays. Those are important things, but learn the skill sets that are going to make the difference, right? Yes, there's going to be drills. Yes, there's going to be group work. Yes, there's going to be tandem work. Tandem work means QBs, receivers working together. Yes, there's going to be some situational work. Okay. Younger guys, a lot more on technique, being able to execute beginning parts of your routes, being able to understand the fundamentals from a route standpoint, being able to catch the ball with your hands for a young guy, being able to, and that means keeping, and this is also, I mean, this happens to high school guys, right? Guys want to catch the ball with it into their body. We want to be able to get our hands away from our body. Our hands are essentially sponges that soak up the football, right? And you talk about a receiver that just grabs the ball and snags out of the air. Well, he soaks that football up, right? And that's a difference that you see from really good receivers versus guys that, even if they extend their hands, it's like they're really like, it's a battle between them and the football, right? We want to teach you to be able to recoil, snag the football, be able to accelerate out of catching the football, be able to get up the field, how to be able to make that move that makes a difference off the line so guys can't get their hands on you. listen, you can go to a lot of places and just work footwork drills and make yourself look really good on Instagram and YouTube and be like, wow, I'm doing something great. Awesome. Applause. Okay. You know how to do a million footwork drills between two cones, be going absolutely nowhere. Our whole objective is to be able to go down the field, catch the ball. As a quarterback, our objective is to be able to deliver the ball on time. As guys, be able to break, be able to throw the ball. And for coaches that have hesitance about handing over your babies to us, well, we're going to make them better. So we're going to hand them back to you even better than they are. Our goal is to be able to help these athletes improve. Everything we do, that's our objective. That's why we have Coach Smith coming on board with us. Down here, we believe he's one of the top quarterback guys, and he has the experience. So those are the things that some of the tidbits that it is. But if you come out of it, it's like, hey, how many times have you seen a quarterback that when they release the ball, they go to throw? I see it, guys that go to some quarterback coaches doing this. When they release to throw the football, their hand is way outside their elbow and their arm is way outside their body frame, right? And it's incredible. And they wonder why the ball tails away from them. They wonder why the ball sails. They wonder why it starts to turn over like a helicopter, right? So those are the kind of things that you can continue with. These are simple things that we want to make sure that we bring our expertise on it. And by the way, it's incredibly inexpensive. So this group work allows us to be able to give you guys a really good pricing on it and give you an opportunity to be able to go out and learn 2 days a week throughout the whole entire summer. Okay. And listen, if you miss it and you say, hey, I can come all 8 weeks, but only 1 day a week, then just sign up for 4 weeks. That's the same amount of sessions. That's why we list the sessions with it. It's important to get out and get that work. Get with some other guys that are also pretty talented too, right? Not just guys that are from your own school. Yes, you want to get that continuity with the players that you play with, but now you're going to go work with some other guys that are real talented as well.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, Coach. Like I said, some of these coaches and stuff, and look, I'm not saying that we're the best at what we do, but we know what we can bring to the table and how we can help these guys. So some of these coaches that are, hesitant to kind of give their guys the quote unquote okay or whatever. Look, we're not trying to take your guys. We're not trying to change your guys. We're just trying to help your guys improve so that when they come back to you, not only are they physically ready to go, but mentally they're on a whole different level in terms of the game itself. I mean, just little things like you're talking receiver play, like you were saying, Coach, like guys love to look pretty with all these cone drills and going lateral and this and all that stuff. Like, look, man, when we line up on that ball, we got to go north and south right now. So the objective is to get up the field to create, you got to go. We got to get 10 yards, that's what we're looking for. We need to get downhill right now. That's great that you can wiggle at the line and get off, but ultimately you got to go. You got to get north and south. You got to stack that guy, and then you got to separate. And look, you might not be the fastest guy. You might not be the quickest guy, but let us teach you some of these techniques that can help you with that, right? So that it's not such a big difference. And then when you come out of that break, how do I go into that break? Then when I come out of that break, where are my eyes going? What am I looking for? Is this linebacker sitting in the zone where I need to go? And now I need to adjust and kind of work to open space. That's the type of things that we're looking to develop. The physical stuff comes along after the mental. When you're out there thinking, that's a problem. That slows you down, right? So let's take that thinking. Let's create that muscle memory of, hey, this is how I run routes. This is how I get in and out of my breaks. And then ultimately, let's finish the play with a nice little catch, a tuck, and a turn. I tell guys all the time, Coach, and you've heard me say it a million times, how often do you catch a ball and you don't get hit within less than a second, right? So prepare for that impact. Catch that thing, tuck it, and then turn and go. And then after you get a couple steps, okay, now I'm in space. Now I can go look and see where I got to go. Where do I need to make my cut? But after that catch, right, soft hands, I should never hear a ball kind of hit your hands. It shouldn't be loud. It should be nice, smooth. Bring that thing into that pocket. Keep a nice little tuck there. And now when you lift up and go, now you can start your wiggle and get out and go for a first down or just start running and go from there. Those are the things that we're looking to do. Obviously, continuity matters when it comes to that. But when you referenced other players. Let's get out of your town's protective bubble, right? You might be the best player in your town, but now you're going to all these camps and everybody's the best player in their town. So let's create that set the bar higher mentality. I want to get better. And all of us collectively can now move forward and ultimately just become the best player that you can be.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's talk about one of the most basic routes there is in football, slant route, right? How many times have you seen guys run a slant route that they'll literally make a quick move at the line, slant inside, they catch the ball at 1 yard instead of 5 yards, and they get tackled immediately? It's like, well, we didn't do anything there, right? We need to be able to understand if we're able to break underneath. Do we have to go over the top? Does the combination of the routes indicate whether we need to go over the top or underneath, right? Most of the time I would say, obviously, if you can get underneath and inside, that's the key. But you want to be able to learn how to drive that in your slant route alone, be able to drive upfield, be able to make the move, drive upfield, okay, enough that you get him thinking that you're going out wide, get him to turn his hips so when you come underneath, you're scot-free, wide open. When he breaks, you catch the ball and run, right? It's amazing to me how many times over and over again, even high school coaches can't even run the slant routes or the slant speed out combination just because their guys don't have enough experience running slant routes. And unless they don't have time to practice it all day long, right? So now listen, hey, this is one of the most basic routes there is, that if you could run the slant route, Jerry Rice made a living off of this route. I mean, would score touchdowns off this route, right? And this was not the fastest guy in the world, but became the greatest receiver of all time. He perfected the art of running the slant route. From a quarterback standpoint, the ability to understand what your 1-2 progression is on, slant to speed out or slant vertical route, or where those kind of combinations are, and to be able to turn, okay, know right away what the actual read is, and be able to deliver the ball immediately if you're in gun, be able to throw the ball off your third step if you're under center, okay? And these are important things, be able to gain that depth. If you're a quarterback that's under, listen, not everybody runs the spread offense. There are people that run the wing tee. There are people that run option. But those quarterbacks still have to be effective in the passing game. Those receivers still have to be, when that pass route is called, it may be 5 times a game. You might have to be able to dial up those 5 times. For a running offense, maybe it's even more important to be able to have that really good technique, because the opportunities that you have in the passing game have to be nailed. So that's one simple route that I always talk about. It's a simple one, and it's amazing to me how long it takes for kids to be able to run a slant route the correct way, right? And learned this many years ago when I was at Powell Park. I was shocked. There was not one kid in the whole team who could run a slant route. It took a year and a half for guys to be able to run the slant route the right way, and then guys would score touchdowns of it. And I had these brothers, the St. Hilaire brothers. They would score touchdowns on the slant route. They would catch it if you didn't tackle them right away. Now they were coming across the field into the secondary, and it's one-on-one with the safety. And if that safety's rolling downhill and doesn't get there, you're off to the races. These are the little things that you could really learn how to run routes specifically the right way. The comeback route, which is my favorite of all time, as you know, having coached me, right? I always look for that guy whoever that guy is on the right side that could run that comeback route, right? And the ability for that guy running the comeback to be able to get the first down, the ability to him to get the defensive back to turn his hips and run so you could throttle down and break outside and be wide open. Those are the kind of things that we want to be able to help guys to help. And then obviously for coaches that work with them, we're going to send you back guys that are better, much better than where they were when they started.
Right. And just talking about those 2 routes, I mean, you could talk about any route, but in terms of receiver, it literally starts with, as I said before, you got to get off the ball and you got to go north-south. Every time you snap the ball as a wide receiver, that corner, that guy lined up over you should think, oh my God, he's going deep, right? So your first steps need to be explosive and they need to be up the field vertical. That creates now a whole mind game. As a receiver, you should be playing that mind game with that guy across from you the entire game. If he now thinks that this guy's trying to run by me every single time, it makes every other route, no matter what coverage he's in. He could be pressed, he could be off, he could be cover 2. two, he could be man. If I'm going vertical or he thinks I'm going vertical, he's nervous. So he's going to be back on his heels. He's going to be bailing out, which makes now the routes, now we can work. Okay. Now we can keep everything, keep that guy on his heels. And now we can work and get to our next progression. I think that's really, really important, no matter what route you're talking, whether you're talking slant, whether you're talking comeback. And look, here's the other thing too, is we really stress, you have to know when we tell you a certain depth on your route, that's where you need to be. And look, we totally understand. We've both played at a high level. When you get in that game and the bullets start flying, right, everything starts to happen fast, guys automatically cut that route down 1-2 yards. What a lot of these guys don't understand is that 1-2 yards is the difference between a completion, a PBU, a pass breakup, an interception for the other team, right? The difference between a first down or 3rd and 1 or 2nd and 1. Your depths need to be precise. That's what your quarterback is looking for. He's saying, hey, my guy's running this comeback 15 to 12 or 18 back to 16 or whatever yardage you have. The receiver, you got to be focused that, hey, I got to get to my depth. But here's the thing. If now I'm thinking about that depth, I'm slowing down, right? So the physical stuff too, we take that out of the way, that now it's, hey, muscle memory. I know, hey, my first 3 steps are going to be explosive, vertical, right? I'm going to get into my cut. I'm now going to lower my center of gravity, stick my foot in the ground. I'm going to get my head around because I'm expecting the ball right now. Quarterbacks and receivers need to be on that same page where, hey, I know he's running this thing at 18 yards or 12 yards. As a receiver, we got to make sure it happens, right? Because the whole thing is once you build that camaraderie, that trust, right? That quarterback, look, even though he's making a read, sometimes, he's going to let one fly to you and say, I know this guy's going to make the play. You have to create that by presenting yourself as, hey, I'm a receiver that does everything right every single play, no matter what. And that's kind of, those are I think some of the things that we can teach or that where we take it to in terms of how much we really break it down for guys to help them learn it and understand it, because there's always a why, right? These guys always, especially, and I'm not bagging on the youth of today, but they're a different breed, right? They're different. They're being coached. They're being parented different. They're being taught in school way different than we were, right? So the communication needs to be on that page. And I just think that sometimes when we break it down to that certain level, now they truly understand, oh, that's why we're doing that, Okay. And that's one of these things that sometimes high school coaches can't really get to because, time constraints, right? Hey, I got to get through a line of 15 guys when really probably only 4 are going to be the guy this year. And then the other 4 are going to be next year. This is where we can help you separate that group. And for high school coaches, man, hey, man, we can help out. So now maybe you don't only have to take a look at those first 4 guys. You can look at 8 because those other guys got a little extra work and they're a little better than you thought coming back into camp because they put the extra work in.
Well, that's two things I want to hit that I think you really nailed. It's a supplement to your work, right? You could, if you're lucky, once you get into practices to be able to have 15. If you have 15 minutes individual period, that's a bonus. Okay?
I mean, we're talking about reps too, right? Ultimately, reps. If you think about the receiver position itself, okay. Let's say that you are lucky enough, in my eyes, lucky enough to be part of a spread offense, right? And as a receiver, okay, now you're one of 4 guys, right? But how many targets are you really going to get a game? You need to make most of every single opportunity you have. Every time there's a throw in your direction, every time there's a pass play called to your side. And look, does it have to be a pass play? Absolutely not. Because why? We know. No block, no rock, right? Like you better be out on the edge. You're not just out there to catch passes, my man. Like you're going to have to do other things within the run game and types of, and we're going to teach all of that stuff. It's not just coming here to run routes, catch passes. No, we're breaking down every aspect of receiver play to a very detailed level that can help guys.
And for the quarterbacks and the receivers, it's about reps, right? The ability to get the repetitions needed, okay, in order to improve. I know what is it? They say you need 10,000 repetitions in order to become an expert.
Yeah, they're to form a habit or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but
Sounds good.
But the main point of it is that repetitions is the key. Be able to rep things correctly over and over again. Be able to see the ball over and over again. From a quarterback standpoint, the more you work on getting the ball out of your hands quicker, the better you're going to get at it. The more you work on those progression reads, the better you're going to get at it, and that will only help you when you go back to your teams. Where, listen, you go in a team period and you might throw 3 passes, right? Even you only have so much time. But now those 3 passes are very effective. Boom, boom, boom. Now coach says, hey, you know what? All right, we could probably throw the ball a little more with him, right? So, but you don't want to be in a situation where your only reps are going to be just form in the summertime, only at practice, where you may be limited outside of your short individual period. This is a full hour individual period for you to be able to get better. And you're going to get the repetitions. I always I emphasize repetitions and a supplement. This is a supplement to everything you're doing. Should you be are there other things you should be? Absolutely. You should be lifting. You should be working out. You should be working on your speed. Okay. But when you come here, we're going to work on your quarterback skill set, wide receiver skill set, your tight end skill set, and then running backs within the passing game, right? To be able to catch the ball. The more effective
huge part now, right? Huge part.
Yeah.
Just because listen, rarely do you see a 3-down running back anymore and a guy that isn't catching the ball out of the backfield in some way, shape, or form, whether it be, screens, hey, whether it be motioning you out into the slot to run a route from out there. That's just another tool in your toolbox. Say, hey, coach, I can catch the ball out of the backfield. And not only does it help you individually, but as a coach, if I have a running back that I can now put out in the slot, that just adds more to my arsenal, correct? I mean, the more we can do with guys and the more guys understand things in a bigger picture sense, the more we can break it down for them to the itty bitty and the nits parts of things, I think the better these guys will be.
Want to know more about national? I used to run a national passing academy. If you want to know more about Passing University, Boardwalk Beast Passing University, go to myfootballcamps.com/passing, or you can go to boardwalkbeasts.fb.com/passing. Those you go to Boardwalk Sports, same thing, boardwalksportsusa.com/passing, and you'll be able to find the program there. It's important to be able to get with guys in the summertime. It's a very short window of time in the summer to be able to get out and get better. And then all of a sudden the season's upon you. And how many times do you feel like, oh, if I just did a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, right? And you don't leave anything on the table. Go out and get the work. Hey, listen, I'm not telling you that not to go with whatever receiver coach you work with or quarterback coach you work with. This is the opportunity to be able to get group work from some guys who really know what they're talking about. And it's going to make you better. That's the bottom line. The price point is fantastic. You're not going to get a better price point than this. And it's just experience. We talk about reps as coaches, right? Not only one of the things that at least for me, in my experience, I've been lucky enough to not just get reps as a coach in season, okay, but to be able to run camps throughout the entire spring for almost 20 years now, right? Seeing all the different coached every individual position, okay, and then I'm running 7-on-7. I mean, it's literally like all year long to be able to do that kind of a thing. And then obviously I've been working with the young guys as well as of you for the last few years, which have really helped. To develop those guys and the skill sets that they need to learn in order to improve. And I can't tell you how, like at the young kid level, and I definitely haven't emphasized this enough. The young kids, there are kids that I've seen that have good arms. They don't know how to throw the football, meaning their arms way too far outside. They're throwing sidearm because in baseball, you come across your body, so they're throwing sidearm. All right, I see it with my own son. Like there are things that we always ignore. We want to make sure that we come through and use our legs and our hips when we're throwing the ball. As a receiver, just learning to run a route for a young guy is a huge thing. Most of the kids, I mean, I watch youth football, like it's basically a fly route. I mean, a flat route
It's
and
coach, it's been interesting with the young guys, and it's something like, look, it's hard for them to understand that when you show them that play and the receiver is a straight line to an angle, that's not exactly how it's run, my man. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a guy in front of you that's trying to make you go a different way or trying to stop you from going on that route. It's okay to release, go vertical, and then go around that guy, right?
right.
But now you have to stack him, get back on, so that now you're still on that straight line track. So when you draw it up, it's not really a straight line, man. You get around, stack, now you get back in that line. And like for the young guys, that's something that when you see them get it, it's like, wow, I can do
Yep.
that. It's like, yeah, man, understand though, your quarterback is looking for you to be in a certain spot. And it's about spacing, correct? When it comes to your routes, you got three guys on one side in a trip set. Look, if you get thrown off your route, now you're throwing off somebody else. Now we have a shot play, and who knows what's going to go on, right? So we got to kind of, those are the things that we can stress. Young guys, old guys, I mean, they all make these little mistakes that happen and whatnot. It's not about harping on the mistakes. It's about seeing how we can correct it so it doesn't happen on a consistent basis.
Well, with young guys especially, the whole key is to be able to get the young guy how to just understand how to run a route, what a route actually is, like how fast you have to do it, right? And then for the quarterback, oh my goodness, he's open now. Like, yeah, like what does every young quarterback do? They wait until the kid shows open, the athlete shows open. If they know that the receiver running the route is consistently going to be in the right place, they can let go of the ball earlier. And you're going to score a whole lot more touchdowns, especially in youth football with that. It's going to make a huge, huge difference.
Huge difference. Huge difference.
I mean, if you have good enough guys to protect a little bit in youth football, but even if they're not fantastic protection, you're rolling guys out, right? And you could deliver the ball on time, speed out, a comeback, a vertical route, and in youth football they run they run an out, right? So, but being able to deliver those balls, that's a big deal. And it'll make all the difference for young guys. Showing, being able to show the quarterback your numbers on a curl route, right? So he sees, so he drills it right in there, understanding what that means.
Right. I think placement of the football, correct? Like we're talking accuracy now. Like, look, you want to talk Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I mean, look, these guys made a living in the NFL knowing where to put the football. You know, I mean, how many times have you seen highlights of Peyton Manning where he fits throws into windows and you're like, there's no way that's happening. But because that timing, that repetition, that receiver knew exactly when that ball was going to be delivered. So he had enough time to catch, tuck, take the hit. And now, like I tell, how many times have you heard me say, like, hey, make the woo in the crowd for your catch, not for the hit that you got, right? Like, right. Secure that catch. I mean, things like that, I just think are on a whole different level. The ability, the things that we teach the quarterbacks, hey, take what's there, right? If we're running our classic smash concept, you got a hitch on the outside, you got a corner from the inside receiver. Look, if that corner even hesitates that little bit to go deep, throw that hitch right now, man, and we'll take 5 yards and we'll get onto the next play and go. I think that's something that excites me when I see our quarterbacks start to throw guys open and things of that nature. You know, hey man, if our guy is even with that corner, let it fly because he's open. You know, don't wait until he's open to throw it. Throw it now. Don't throw it where he is. Throw it where it needs to be or where he's gonna be, right? And then we can also, you know, we also develop it so that when guys start to really get to that next level, all right, now, hey, we want to put the ball on this shoulder. We want to put the ball here, right? Put the ball there where it's the receiver or no one. And also teach guys that, hey, it's okay sometimes if that guy's not open, get rid of that thing and we'll live to play another day. Everybody thinks I got to do this. I got to do something every single play. Look, man, that's not what it's about. It's about progression. It's about moving the chains. You have, truly 4 downs if you really wanted to get 10 yards. In reality, in a passing game, it's not really that much, my man. Like, let's continue to teach that, patience, give us what they, take what they give us, take what they give us. Now we have the opportunity to let one fly a little bit as they creep up, because that's what we're doing. We talk about it all the time. Like, I grew up in a passing offense. I was a run and shoot guy from the time I was in diapers, never in a huddle, wristbands, pace, that type of stuff. I think changes a game, motions. We teach it all. And even if you go back to your school and you don't use any of it, you have it, right? It's in your toolbox if you ever need to use it. And I think the guys like that, because they see a lot of this stuff on Sunday. They see it on Saturdays. They see it, some of it they see on Friday nights. And a lot of it is bad football or bad habits. And we don't want those guys in that same realm. You don't do what everybody else is doing just because you saw something on Instagram, or this trainer said this, or, we see how many of these drills where these guys are in and out of cones and they're all over the place. And it's like, that's great, but how often are you going to run a route where you have to make 6 different cuts, right? Or there's no cones on the field, right? Like, I get that stuff for working out and doing all that, but at the end of the day, man, it's about getting north and south, finding the open zone, catching the ball, and then go make a play.
There's no doubt about it. Being able to use your hands, being able to know where the open spaces are, for the quarterback, being understand where everybody is on the field, be able to deliver the ball on time, be able to do everything in one motion, like not being robotic, being able to deliver a ball that's catchable with velocity.
Catchable ball. I mean, that's stuff's. Look,
I've seen guys that can whip it and it's not catchable.
I get it, right? And we see it. How many times do we see it at showcases, right? We get to the showcase, we get to these, we all of a sudden start doing one-on-ones, and every route or every throw that comes from a quarterback is as hard as he can throw it, 90-mile-an-hour fastball. That's great that you have an arm, but if the receiver doesn't catch it, you're still 0 for 1 on your completions. Right? So let's give him a catchable ball, something he can do, know your situations, right? Like, hey, am I okay to take a check down here? Do I need to take a shot here? Right? And then ultimately, I think understanding just the field in general, right? And especially as a receiver and a quarterback. Okay, hey, I'm an outside receiver. I line up on the bottom of the numbers. I line up on the middle of the numbers. I'm on the top of the numbers as the slot. Am I splitting the difference between the outside receiver and the end man on the line of scrimmage? Am I a little tighter? Am I on the ball? Am I off the ball? Because playing those things, that's different, right? It's different teaching, different mechanics, different techniques, from being a receiver on the outside to being a receiver on the inside, right? To being the point man in a bunch, to being off the ball in a bunch, to being on the ball, to being off the ball, right? There's a whole list of things that I think a lot of these guys really don't understand the depths of it that we can help them with.
No doubt. On that note, I think we'll sign off, but when you get a chance, go to myfootballcamps.com/passing. See if it fits in your schedule. If it does, it's a great opportunity to be able to improve. I'll show our two. There's the dates of the Youth Passing Academy, same exact dates, just different time slots, and the high school passing university. It's important to be able to get out there, to work, to continue to learn, to compete within practice, to get better. These are great opportunities for that. myfootballcamps.com/passing, BoardwalkBeastFB.com/passing, BoardwalkSportsUSA.com/passing, and then we'll see you guys soon. Glad to be back on with Coach D. We'll start bringing you some more content with respect in the football world, and we will see you all very, very soon.